We've all been trapped in this room. The lights go down, the projector hums, and the speaker starts droning on, reading word for word from a slide crammed with tiny text. According to audience surveys, people consistently hate three things above all else: speakers reading their slides out loud, slides packed with full sentences, and text too small to read. This happens because researchers and analysts often treat the live stage exactly like a printed document. They take their manuscript, chop it up into bullet points, and paste it directly onto a screen. But the human brain isn't built to process information that way. When an audience reads a dense slide while trying to listen to you speak, they hit a wall. Processing verbal information as speech and processing it as text rely on the exact same neural networks. Doing both simultaneously overloads the system. By putting the entire paper on the screen, the presenter creates massive cognitive friction for the audience and makes their own presence on the stage completely unnecessary. To fix this, we have to rethink the timeline of the presentation itself, building a structure that actually aligns with human attention. This graphic illustrates the traditional research paper structure, organized like a pyramid. It starts with an introduction, wades through literature and methods, and buries the conclusion at the end. On a stage, this fails. While detailing background literature, the audience is left waiting, unengaged. Here, we see a different approach, the journalistic inverted pyramid. This structure gives the audience the main point, the lead up front, but then trails off into less important background details as time goes on. This chart introduces a better hybrid, the hourglass structure. It begins broad, narrows into specifics, and broadens at the end. You deliver a strong hook when attention is highest, dive into data in the middle, and reiterate takeaways as people gear up to leave. Changing this macro structure ensures the flow of your information directly mirrors how a live audience experiences time and fatigue. Once the overall timeline is fixed, we have to look at the microarchitecture, the actual design of the individual slides. The first step is to visualize your content. Because of what cognitive scientists call the picture superiority effect, our brains grasp and retain information far better through pictures than through words alone. By swapping a heavy bulleted list for a clean, simple graph, you instantly reduce the amount of mental effort required for the audience to understand your point. Next, you must unify your design. Using consistent color palettes throughout your presentation guides the viewer's eye predictably, letting them know exactly where to look. For example, integrating your text directly into your visuals, like placing labels right next to data lines, prevents the audience from darting their eyes back and forth across the screen trying to decipher a detached legend. The third step is focus. This requires ruthlessly stripping away non-essential elements, like heavy grid lines, borders, and unnecessary tick marks that only serve to clutter the screen. To keep that focus sharp, use the layering approach. Feed your audience one point at a time. This lets them quickly read a brief line of text and immediately return their attention to you. Applying these three principles, visualize, unify, and focus, stops the audience from fighting the design of your slides, freeing up their cognitive capacity to absorb what you are actually saying. Ultimately, a live presentation is a synchronized performance between the spoken word and the visual aid. It is a completely different medium than a written report. Adopting the hourglass structure allows you to manage the shifting energy in the room, delivering your most critical insights exactly when the audience is most primed to hear them. And executing those micro-level design principles protects the audience's limited cognitive load, ensuring their brains aren't overwhelmed by competing streams of information. When the friction of bad design and poor pacing is removed, your audience is completely free to engage with your research, remember your insights, and actually act upon your ideas. Stop presenting your content as a reference document for yourself. Start designing your presentation entirely for the people sitting in the seats.